Out the program as we entertain you with how to play it and how it came to Tanzania.
Mchezo wetu ni mzuri sana. Nyumbani hata ukiwa na kieneo chenye mita 6 kwa 6, mradi kuna majani, unaweka goli lako na unafanya mazoezi pale. Lakini unapozungumzia unataka kucheza kabisa kama mashindano, basi eneo lolote ambalo kuna miti, kuna majani, lakini ipo nafasi ya kutengeneza mita 30 kwa upana mita 4, tayari pale ni kiwanja. Lakini pili, mnaweza kucheza kwenye sehemu za fukwe.
Shirikisho lake kubwa duniani linaitwaje?
Shirikisho lake linaitwa International Football Federation ambalo liko Taiwan.
Liko Taiwan. Kwa Taiwan ndio inachezwa sana au imechaguliwa?
Kiujumla ni kwamba Taiwan ndio mchezo huu ulipotokea, na nchi nyingi za bara la Asia ndio linaucheza mchezo. Lakini pili, kwa kuangalia mazingira, wale wenzetu wanaangalia itikadi ya dini yao.
For this and much more, don't miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
In Capital News tonight, Prime Minister suspends 7 directors of the Irrigation Commission. In international, UPDF to investigate newly appointed LDU. And in sports, Yanga returned to winning ways after 1-0 victory over Ruvu shooting. Good evening, this is Capital News at 9:30. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. First, the national news. Prime Minister Kassim Majaliwa has suspended 7 directors of the Irrigation Commission, including the acting managing director of the commission, so that investigations can be made into the various allegations against them. The Prime Minister said this during a meeting with leaders of the commission that was held in Dodoma and was attended by ministers, deputy ministers and permanent secretaries, where he also ordered disciplinary action to be taken against 21 other officials of the commission for poor performance in various projects.
Wakiingia ofisini watavuruga. Ukae kwanza pembeni.
If they're allowed back in, they will cause havoc. Let them stay out first. Once everything has been assessed, then you will be informed. We want everything to go on smoothly, and this must be done as soon as possible. Those who are not guilty, let them carry on. Where there is shortcomings, then it shall be addressed. We want to be assured if what has been reported is what is actually going on. If you are not guilty, then you must not be worried. This must be done as soon as possible. You have been moved to the agricultural sector, so you understand what is happening.
Changamoto la pili kwenye mabwawa au miradi ya maji yoyote.
The second challenge in water projects is there is no value for money. A project supposed to cost 2 billion shillings, it ends up costing 4 billion shillings. I've got evidence. We have a certain project, the engineer's quotation was 4.5 billion, but it is going to be constructed for 2.5. We hope that now you have changed after going to the Ministry of Agriculture. You'll be more vigilant. Dam constructions should not cost a lot of money.
The government has said that it has discovered that documents of factories that have been returned to the government were used to take out significant large loans than what was used during privatization, with others having not paid back their loans and some failing to return the factories' documents to the government due to this, demanding that they ensure that by 31st May 2019 they will have pay the loans, otherwise they will be charged with economic sabotage. This was said in Parliament by the Minister of Industry and Trade, Joseph Kakunda, when delivering his ministry's 2019-2020 budget.
I would like to say that there are some owners of industries who took very large loans from banks, and to date they have not repaid those loans. I must say as well that the enormous loans are much bigger than the worth of the industries when they were being privatized. First, I would like to warn all those who took such large loans, who are both inside and outside the country, to repay those loans by May 31st this year. Otherwise, they will face severe legal consequences. I would like to say that it has become clear that the Ministry of Trade and Industries does not understand anything at all about the nature of industrialization. I must say too that is why the president is getting so many problems. When he goes to some parts of the country, he has to act as a minister, and at other times, he has to act as a president. I would like to say that currently, we as a country are on the road towards becoming an industrialized economy. Therefore, I must say that one of the factors which will help us to get there is the removal of red tape from the procedures which must be followed when land is to be set aside for an investor whose aim it is to build a factory for his investment.
Before the budget was delivered, members of Parliament also had the opportunity to ask various questions on patent issues and received answers.
Morogoro Regional Referral Hospital, which serves 500 patients per day for 4 months now, this hospital has not been able to carry out full blood picture tests. Neither does it have oxygen. I have not been informed with regards to what has been said. What I would like or remember to do after the meeting is we shall make a follow-up on this, so this vital service to patients can be made available. Right to information is a legal right mentioned in the Constitution. Tanzania is not an island. Doesn't the government see that by preventing Azam from advertising certain commercials, it's hindering local news from getting international stage? To be patriotic, we must value our own. We recognize the right of Tanzanians to access information. That is why special licenses have been made available to service providers. StarTimes, Ting and Continental have applied to licenses that allow them to air free-to-view channels, but Azam, Zuku and others had applied for a license that one had to pay to air commercials. Azam is amongst service providers who applied for a license to air free-to-view channels and has been awarded, and Azam has assured us that in 7 months' time they will be able to air free-to-view channels.
Ndani ya miezi 7 watakuwa wameshajenga DDT eneo lote la nchi yetu kwa ajili ya kurusha hizo channel za bure.
Hundreds of residents in various parts of Dar es Salaam have run away from their homes after their houses were flooded with water following ongoing rains in various parts of the city, with efforts to resolve the situation ongoing.
You can't leave this high-risk area when you don't know where you are supposed to go. We would like to live in better areas, but we are on low income. There has been more water around this time because of the valley. This area has now been set aside for industries. I think that with new industries coming up, our lives will be better. Vingunguti and Mnyamani have been affected the most. We've come with a fire brigade department so water can be pumped out in order to allow our people to carry on with their lives. We've also noticed that there has been a lot of water because the drainage constructed is too small.
Mwanza Regional Resident Magistrate Court has continued to listen to evidence in a case numbered 1 of 2019 of economic sabotage, which is facing 8 police officers who denied their charges against them. Among the charges that have been leveled against them are economic sabotage.
Testimony continued to be given by a security guard in the case of the Kigongo crossing, which is located in Misungwi district. As she was presiding over the case, the senior magistrate of the Mwanza Regional Resident Magistrate Court, Rhoda Ngimilanga, said that the request of lawyers on the side of the defense for the court to reject the explanation that a small silver car with the registration number of T208 DLT should be used as evidence has been denied, and Magistrate Ngimilanga has given an official directive for the case to continue. As he was giving his testimony in court, a witness known as Maximilian, a JKT Suma guard at the Kigongo crossing, identified the 5th suspect, Maurice Okinda, and the 10th suspect, Timothy Nzumbi, whom he claimed on January 4th this year at around 7 p.m. in the evening, reached the Kigongo Busisi crossing and identified themselves to him as officers with their companions in the police car. Maximilian said that afterwards, a small silver car with the registration number of T208 DLT arrived, and out of it stepped a person who seemed to be Arabic. This person went to collect a ticket in order to go past the crossing, when suddenly the officers who had been in the police car that had arrived at the crossing surrounded him and then directed him to enter the car which he had come with. They then searched the car, and then they demanded that the driver of the car should turn it around and head back to Mwanza town. For their part, the attorneys for the defense said that they are still dissatisfied with the testimony being given by Maximilian, as he had not taken with him the book that lists all vehicles entering the crossing. All of the accused have been returned to remand custody at the Butimba main prison in Mwanza region, where the case will come up for another mention for 4 consecutive days from the 21st of this month.
The Controller and Auditor General of the government, Professor Musa Assad, has said that all areas of the society which are being audited must give their cooperation, especially in terms of replying to questions which are posed to them, and also in terms of accepting auditing recommendations so as to enable his office do their job on time. Professor Assad made this statement during a meeting of the Council of Workers of his office.
In auditing, queries must be answered, and if it's done on time and we are satisfied with the answers provided, we close the audit. And if not, then the shortcomings are included in the audit report. Timing is very crucial in performing our duties. The third area which is of importance is the implementation of recommendations made in past audits. I commend the House of Parliament of the United Republic of Tanzania's leadership and its committees for the cooperation they have shown us in carrying our duties, which also includes financial assistance. I urge you members to observe ethics and not to be corrupt and accept bribe, as well as to do your job diligently. Taking part in such an offense could end up costing you your job.
si jambo jema, tupende kujiepusha.
Mobile company Tigo has urged officials who have moved to the government town Mutimba in Dodoma to be first in line to take advantage of the biometric SIM card registration exercise that has been mentioned as a key solution to cyber crimes.
The impact is huge because that prevents cyber crimes. Everyone will have their own fingerprints recorded in the system, so if a person commits cybercrime, it will be easy to catch them, and then the law can take its own course. I urge people everywhere to make sure that they get the need identification, because that is the main identification that we shall use in registering fingerprints, so when they go to our offices or when we go to these institutions, they should have those IDs as well. In addition, the particular phone people have been misusing the internet several times before through having many SIM cards as well as identity cards at different times. So when they use these items to commit crimes, they can throw away the cards afterwards or use fake identities. Thus now the government has seen it fit to involve registration through people's fingerprints, which are not the same, and so you can know a certain phone belongs to this person and no one else can claim ownership of it.
The second witness for the prosecution in the case of Chadema Chairman Freeman Mbowe and other senior leaders of the party has said that he has no friendship with Freeman Mbowe, nor is he a member of any political party in the country.
Led by the attorney Paul Kadushi before the resident magistrate Thomas Simba, the witness explained that he pulled over after hearing a commotion and saw people in the middle of the road coming from Morogoro and heading to Magomeni. He said that the people were carrying a flag and were very antagonistic, and some of them he had been seen through the television and newspapers. He added that when the police arrived at the area, they began to throw water, stones, and some people began to close down their shops and run away. When answering questions from the defense attorney, Peter Kibatala, the witness claimed that he was unaware if the late Aquilina Aquilini was shot and killed in the incident, as he ran away after seeing tear gas being hurled. Others who are accused in the incident include the Chadema General Secretary, Dr. Vincent Mashinji, the Deputy General Secretary of the party, Salum Mwalimu, John Mnyika, the Chairperson of the Women's Council, Halima Mde, the Bunda MP, Esther Bulaya, and the Iringa Urban MP, Peter Msigwa, and the Tarime Rural MP, John Heche. Collectively, the accused are facing 13 charges of incitement, including inciting their followers to commit offenses and holding illegal gatherings. The case has been adjourned to May 15th of this year.
As part of its ongoing efforts to promote the development of creativity, professionalism and expertise in the culture sector, the Embassy of Norway in Dar es Salaam has today confirmed a new 3-year partnership with Busara Promotions in Zanzibar-based NGO behind the annual Sauti za Busara Festival.
Today is a very important day in the cultural scene on the cooperation between Norway and Sauti za Busara Festival and Busara Promotions, because today we are ready to sign a new contract. We are ready to support Busara Promotions for the next 3 years. The way we will support is to give a grant for the next 3 years of 3 million Norwegian krones. Maybe you're not familiar with the Norwegian krones, so I can say that's approximately $342,000 US.
As the Honourable Ambassador said, the Norwegian Embassy has been supporting Busara Promotions since 2009. And this support has really helped Busara Promotions staff and team to professionalize, to take Tanzanian and East African music to another level, regionally and internationally. Our crew members have been learning sound engineering, lighting engineering, health and safety issues, press and media relations, graphic design, all kinds of skills that will be useful to them not just in February but throughout the year in their other day-to-day lives.
And that is the end of national news. International news follows shortly after the break. And in international news, the Defense Division in Uganda has announced the start of an investigation into the new local defense unit following complaints that it is disturbing and robbing residents of Kampala and other areas.
We don't have a curfew in Uganda.
The aim of employing the officers was an initiative into boosting manpower and curbing criminal activities. We do not have a curfew in Uganda, hence there is no need of movement restrictions after 7 p.m. in areas that the officers have been deployed. Meanwhile, we are calling on citizens who have been mistreated by these officers to report to police stations and lay charges. Investigations will be made, and if the officers are found guilty, then the law shall take its course.
Civil society organizations ask fighters who attack health centers that take in Ebola patients with weapons to have talks with the government or relevant doctors rather than using force, which can spread the disease.
Hiyo virusi ya Ebola ni kweli.
The Ebola virus has killed many people. Although there's still some questions towards the disease, we're calling on people to come forward and discuss the matter with us. It is quite sad that a majority of people do not have the necessary details on the disease, but it is not their fault. Their leaders are the ones responsible in disseminating information about the disease so that people can know how to protect themselves. It was around 2 a.m. while we were at the post-mortem meeting with our fellow doctors, we suddenly heard gunshots. A watchman immediately informed us that the health center had been invaded by gunmen. We all ran out to hide. Unfortunately, after the health attendants ran away, 2 Ebola patients died.
Members of the Parliament of Uganda have visited the Pan-African Parliament's headquarters in Johannesburg and held talks with the first Vice President of the Pan-African Parliament, Stephen Masele, after which some of the MPs expressed satisfaction at the job being done by him.
We have discovered that he is a prolific leader, young, charismatic and prolific. Is able, if we can still give him the necessary support as the East African region. One, it can cause change in the whole of Africa, but also the Eastern region. Why is he able to cause change? One, is still young, but very focused. Then we can also look at him as a focal point of unity. If you can see the way he has managed to give us the historical perspective of the African Union.
And that is the end of international news. Business news follows shortly after the break. We'll be right back.
Watch Business Edition as we talk to business leaders and experts in sectors that are transforming Tanzania's economy.
To be rich, I have to be a business person.
It's not an easy road at all.
People need to understand.
You must quickly think, how cost effective are you going to be?
Business acts as a way in which it can bridge that gap.
Business Edition will keep you informed on latest developments in the financial sector, extractive industry, tourism, agriculture, energy, construction, and so much more. Meet entrepreneurs who create employment opportunities. Watch Business Edition on Friday at 8:15 p.m.
Welcome back, and in business news tonight. Investors of 7 companies engaged in production of poultry and eggs from Holland have entered into an agreement with the government to provide modern training and equipment to North regions so as to enable small-scale traders to raise chicken for business.
Kwenye ngazi ya mafunzo, I have agreed to this project at training level, and I shall continue to supervise the exercise. At the end of the day, all we want is for our people to be fed good quality products. We are glad that they shall assist us in developing the poultry sector, which has remained stagnant since it was introduced in the country. There are new technologies in handling chicken. I believe that from training that we will receive, we will surely improve the sector in the country.
Youth invested in the tourism sector have explained how they benefit by increase in tourists visiting the country and have asked the government to increase its efforts in advertising our attractions, as many have yet to be promoted.
What we need right now is to train Tanzanians on how they can benefit from this market. However, whenever we have tourists coming from different countries, one among the major challenges is communication. It is important to have linguistics who will facilitate easy communication between indigenous people and tourists. Language barriers proven to be a leading challenge. If you look at tourist attractions in Tanzanians that have not been explored yet by a lot of nations in the world. Honestly, this time around, TTB has done a wonderful job, but I'm still calling on the board not to relax. Now they should continue working with different partners so that the pace will continue growing higher and higher.
The government, through the Ministry of Livestock and Fisheries, has begun strategies to increase the production of fish through fish farming due to decrease in number of fish in their natural habitats.
About 21% of animal proteins coming from fish. That is why the government has come up with a strategic plan of increasing fish production by empowering fish farming. This move will not only help us improve the level of nutrition in the country, but is also another means of creating employment, and at the same time generating a source of raw materials to industrial economy. In the next 5 years, we are expecting to increase production in the country significantly. In order to increase fish production, then there is no need of depending on natural sources of fish. Economically, introduction of fish farming will create employment opportunities, contribute to our GDP, and eventually result in earning foreign currency.
And that is the end of business news. Sports news follows shortly after the break.
Hi, my name is Kotaro Tokuda. What's up? My name is Céline Garnier.
I'm John Barnes from Liverpool Football Club. The hip, hop, a hip it, the hip it, the hip, hip, hop it. Don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang boogie. Say up, jump the boogie to the rhythm of the boogie to beat. Now what you hear?
I'm watching Sports Gazette. I'm watching Sports Gazette.
And you're watching Sports Gazette
with Sebastian.
With
Sebastian. Peace out.
Yes! And you can also watch Sports Gazette for highlights and interviews regarding sports. Do not miss Sports Gazette every Wednesday at 7 p.m. only on Capital Television.
Welcome back, and in sports news. Young African Sports Club have returned to winning, says with a 1-0 win over Ruvu Shooting at the Uhuru Stadium in Dar es Salaam. The only goal of the game came through Papi Kabamba Shisimbi, and in the first half, and now the Jangwani Club is back at the top of the table. Now moving on, the Athletics Association General Secretary Wilhelm Gidabudai has asked the authorities to question the former Secretary Suleiman Nyabui on the embezzlement of funds that occurred during his time as secretary.
Crime pays.
As they say, crime pays. It means if you commit a crime, even 100 years later, and you're not dead, you will pay. So the workers' leave debts will not be paid by me. And as you can see, I have the pressure of some kind, because I have told my boss that the debts that came when Nyambui was the General Secretary will not be paid by me. I will pay when he's questioned and he says why he didn't pay.
South Africa's Track Federation will appeal against the recent Caster Semenya ruling, the country's sports ministry has confirmed. Here are more details.
The government ministry said 2 of the 3 judges who heard the case at the Court of Arbitration for Sport were conflicted. They claim facts were ignored and that the track and field's governing body was given unfettered latitude to as it pleased. Athletics in South Africa, ASA, the governing body of track and field in the country, was one of 2 parties alongside Semenya to take the IAAF to court to challenge its testosterone regulations in female competitions. The IAAF won the case, and last week rules came into effect requiring the South African 800 meters Olympics champion and other female athletes with differences of sex development, conditions and high levels of natural testosterone to medically lower them to be eligible to compete in events from 400 meters to a mile.
And that sports item ends our news bulletin for tonight. My name is Khadija Zimbwe. Thank you for watching and good night.
One of the